Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 277. Al Green is trying to do it again, guys, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Thank you all very much for tuning in today. Before we get started, don't forget to follow the JP8 Report by clicking that follow button and giving us a thumbs up, like, and please share. And then I do this is Rumble. I'm on rumble.com. I simulcast through X and Facebook, and I successfully, I don't know, I think they changed the rules on us, but I'm actually live on YouTube right now also. So if you're on there and you're watching, please subscribe, but come back here for all the fireworks, because this is Rumble. This is where we get the mix on, right? But yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in today. And I may, if I seem a little bit tired of what I'm doing right now, I've been up since 2:45 this morning. It's because we took our daughter to the airport down in Austin, because she just got to California and she's about to walk the stage for her master's degree, which she doesn't technically finish till April, but they only cross once a year. And she's graduating from University of Southern California Medical Health Sciences or something like that. I don't know how close I was to it, but if you are watching and you just heard me say that, her name is Rachel, please put it in the comments telling her congratulations on getting her master's degree, because she worked very hard on it, very, very hard. And it's a master's in human genome and genetic counseling. And so I can't even pronounce it, but she did it. That's awesome. First one in my family that's got a master's degree. So yeah, go in the comments section, the actual comment section, and tell her congratulations, Rachel. All right. So let's get going with the JP8 report. This is the 11th of December, 1775. Now I got a letter from General George Washington to John Hancock, dealing with. Before we get to that, today also he received news that Montreal was captured by the Continental Army. And then I got this letter here from General Washington to John Hancock. And if you didn't realize, John Hancock is the president of the Second Continental Congress. All right. Sir, Captain Manley of the Lee armed schooner has taken and sent into Beverly 2 prizes since I last wrote you, which was on the 7th instant. One of them is the ship Jenny. Captain Forster, who left London late in October, he has very unfortunately thrown all of his paper overboard. He has not yet arrived at camp. If he does, before I close this, I will let you know what information I get from him. His vessel is loaded with coal and porter, and the later is about 100 butts or other is a brigantine from Antigua called the Little Hannah, Robert Adams' master. Her cargo consists of 139 hogsheads of rum, 100 cases of Geneva, and some other trifling articles. Both cargoes were designed for the use of the Army and Navy at Boston. I guess Boston's going to get sober. I have great pleasure in congratulating you on this success. The numbers enlisted last week are, and it's blank men. If they go on at this slow rate, it will be a long time before the Army is complete. Wait a minute, blank men. Hold on, I think there was a PS about that before I go on. The weekly returns of enlistments are not yet being received for more than 10 regiments to 725 men. I cannot fill up the blank in this letter, but this added to the former makes of the whole 5,253. So he left it blank. He was going to fill it in, but he made an estimate. Okay, so it'll be a long time. I have wrote to the governors of Connecticut and Rhode Island, also to the Convention of New Hampshire on this subject. A copy of my letter to them I have the honor to enclose herewith. A letter to the same purport I sent to the legislature of this province. The militias are coming fast. I am much pleased with the altruism which the good people of this province, as well those of New Hampshire, have shown upon this occasion. I expect the whole will be in this day and tomorrow, when what remains of Connecticut gentry who have not enlisted will have the liberty to go to their firesides. The commissary general is still, by this indisposition gained from camp, he committed an error when making out the ration list, for he was then serving out, and his continued so to do 6 ounces per man per week of butter, though it is not included in the list approved by the Congress. I do not think, breaking news, hold on, Schumer gambit extended Obamacare subsidies crushed by JP. Okay. All it was first the Democrats defeated the Republicans in the Senate about Obamacare, and now the Republicans defeated the Democrats in the Senate about Obamacare. So they're back. It's a tie. The information I received that the enemy intended spreading the smallpox among us, I could not suppose them capable of. I now must give some credit to it, as it has been made a small appearance of several of those who came out of Boston. Every necessary precaution has been taken to prevent it from being communicated to this army, and the General Court will take care that it does not spread throughout the country. I have not heard of any more troops are arrived in Boston, which is lucky circumstance, as the Connecticut troops I now find are for the most part gone. Of the houses in Boston are lessening every day. They are pulled down either for firewood or to prevent the effects of fire should we attempt a bombardment or an attack upon the town. Cobble Hill is strongly fortified without any interruption from the enemy. Colonel Enos has been tried and acquitted. Upon that principle, you will see by the process of his trial, which I now send to you, as the time of Colonel Enos's engagement was near expired, a doubt arose whether he could then be tried by court-martial. This it was which occasioned his trial to come on before Colonel Arnold's evidence could be had. This is that at present occurs from, Sir, yours and most humbly servant, General George Washington. All right, so that was a situation report from General Washington to John Hancock, and that was a pretty good letter. It was really hard to read King's English sometimes. All right, so the next part of the JP8 report, we talk about my buddies at the Dalmatian Texas Burgers. They are homemade Texas smash burgers and hot dogs here in Copper's Cove. All their ingredients are homemade, including their buns. They're open 11 to 2 as of right now, and 5:30 to 7, which is later, Tuesday through Saturday, and they're located on the west side of Copper's Cove in Town Square behind Bush's Chicken. All right? All their stuff is good. And ignore the cats behind me because they're making a ruckus today. They missed us last night because we were gone to the airport. Okay, so I'll get my stuff ready here. All right, so onward to the JP8 report. I'm going to kill those cats. Oh, no, I can't do that. Rachel would get upset. All right, while I'm getting ready here, don't forget to click that follow button and click that like button. Okay, so first and foremost on the JP8 report is about Al Green. Al Green, he's a congressman in the 9th Congressional District, Southwest Houston. He got districted out, and now he's running for the 18th Congressional District for next November. So in the 18th Congressional District, there are 2 Republicans in the Republican primary. That's Elizabeth Venice and Ronald Dwayne Whitfield. And in the Democrat side, you got Gretchen Brown, Amanda Edwards, Al Green, and Christian Deshawn Menifee. Now, this is the 18th Congressional District is vacant right now because Sylvester Turner died in office a few months ago. So there's a runoff in this election, and it's on January 31st, and it's going to be between Amanda Edwards and Christian Deshawn Menifee. So one of them two will be the incumbent, but right after their election, 2 weeks after the election, early vote starts for the primary for the 2026 general election in November. So one of them two will be the incumbent going in. I can't remember if in Texas they list incumbents. I do not believe they do. But one of them two will be an incumbent against Al Green and Gretchen Brown. So we don't know. But what happened was yesterday, Al Green, I believe for the 5th time this congressional session, has tried to impeach President Trump. This time he did a privileged resolution. Now, I thought it was a discharge, so I spent a little while this morning looking for votes on it or signatures on discharge, but he offered a privileged resolution, which means within 2 days of the privileged resolution introduced, which was yesterday morning at 9:25, they have to have a vote in the House of Representatives before the whole main body on his privileged resolution, which is 2 articles of impeachment he wants to bestow upon the president. So we will see where that goes. The Fox News article says Representative Al Green filed articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump on Wednesday and will force the House of Representatives to vote on the measure this week. Green made his resolution to impeach Trump privileged on Wednesday, meaning the House must vote on the issue within 2 legislative days. The day was the 1st, tomorrow's the 2nd. Green has introduced articles of impeachment against Trump at least 5 times this year, but he has not before tried to force a vote on the issue. Green's impeachment filing accuses Trump of calling for the execution of 6 Democratic lawmakers and making threats of violence against judges. The former refers to Trump's reaction after Democrat lawmakers urged members of the military to refuse illegal orders. President Trump is an abuser of presidential power who, if left in office, will continue to promote violence, engender invidious hate, and undermine our democracy, and dissolve our republic, Green said in a statement. Green has failed several times to gather support among Democrats for impeaching Trump. House Democrats voted to kill a Green impeachment effort in June, the one based on Trump ordering airstrikes on Iran. Trump is not the only member of this administration to face impeachment efforts. However, House Democrats also filed articles against HHS Secretary RFK Jr. and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth this week. Representative Haley Stevens announced a move against Kennedy on Wednesday, arguing he has failed in his role. Stevens previously vowed to file articles in September. Today, I formally introduced articles of impeachment against RFK Jr. Has turned his back on science and the safety of the American people. Michiganders cannot take another day of his chaos, she wrote in a statement posted on social media. Meanwhile, Representative Shuri Thanadar, he's another one from Michigan, targeted Hegseth, pointing to reports that he issued orders to kill everybody on board a small vessel and that he was allegedly involved in drug trafficking. Pete Hegseth has been using the United States military to extrajudicially assassinate people without evidence of any crime. As said Thanadar, former military attorneys have come out and asserted that his conduct constitutes war crimes. We cannot allow this to be his reprehensible conduct to continue, which is why I have filed these articles to impeach him. So, a couple of things. A JAG officer cleared that attack on September 2nd, and the second attack on the same vessel. All right? So, I don't know where he's getting that from. HHS, I said this yesterday or the day before, RFK Jr. is not a doctor. He's exercising his viewpoint from those advisors around him. These are going nowhere. Al Green, same thing. The reason why I was telling you about CD18 and CD9 was that this is the reason why we need to bury our differences in the Republican Party and marshal everyone together and win this election this coming November. Because within 1 week, we saw 3 articles of impeachment filed. What do you think will happen next January when the new Congress is convened? This will happen every single week, and nothing will get done in our Congress. Nothing will get done. So take it as it may. I know we're not all of the same accord, but we're still Republicans. Most of us are conservative. We need to bury the hatchet. That being said, the mighty Marjorie Taylor Greene has said yesterday that she will sign every single discharge petition that crosses her desk until she resigns on the 5th of January so she can receive her congressional retirement. So this is the type of people in our Republican Party that we're dealing with. So we need to get our act together. We need to get strong conservatives. We need to get them elected and stop playing butthurt politics. Right? Let's get it done. All right. So next. House advances $901 billion National Defense Authorization Act. The House did. It's over in the Senate. and that they should be taking it up today or tomorrow, I think. It passed 312 to 12. 18 Republicans voted against it. 94 Democrats voted against it. There were several stipulations in the bill itself. So another Fox News article. The House passed the NDAA Wednesday, punting the yearly legislation that governs Pentagon spending to the Senate. The vote was 312 to 12, and then 18 to 94. An earlier procedural vote in the legislation just barely passed 215 to 211. I got a crazy cat behind me that I can't do nothing about. Yeah. Let's see. 4 Republicans, Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tim Burchett, and Lauren Boebert all changed their votes from no to yes, and all Democrats voted no on the procedural roll vote. House and Senate leaders have already have combined their own versions into the legislation into one negotiated package, meaning it should face smooth sailing in the Senate before the president's signature. Hardline conservatives also spoke out against the bill over the inclusion, get this, of Ukraine funding at $400 million per year for 2 years, and the omission of a provision that would ban the Federal Reserve from creating a central bank digital currency. But conservatives had pushed the CBDC prohibition as a privacy and civil liberties measure, arguing the government issued a digital dollar would give federal agencies the ability to monitor and restrict individual transactions, and they are correct. The House passed the NDAA in December and then sent it to the Senate, and then they made revisions and sent it back to the House. The other provisions, you'll love this, strictly curtail Trump from reducing troop presence in Europe and South Korea or pausing weapon deliveries to Ukraine. They're curtailing the president to be able to do his job, but it's veto proof. The bill would also withhold 1/4 of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth's travel budget until the Pentagon hands over raw footage of the strikes on alleged narco-trafficking boats near Venezuela. And then Speaker Johnson is touting the provisions that offer troops a 4% instead of a 3.8, a 4% pay raise, eliminate DEI policies, I'll take that, crack down on anti-Semitism, yep, I'll go with that, and eliminating $20 billion in spending on obsolete programs and Pentagon bureaucracy and policies that crack down on China. And a victory for conservative privacy hawks like the House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan. The legislation includes a non-defense provision that would mandate FBI disclosure when the Bureau was investigating presidential candidates and other candidates for federal office. That is absolutely necessary. Coverage of IVF for military families, which was a flashpoint in recent days, is not included in the final NDAA. Neither is a provision that attempts states from regulating artificial intelligence. And then that's not important. Okay, so we'll see. It's not perfect, but we need it. That's a good pay raise for soldiers. We'll see when it gets through the Senate, and then the president's going to sign it. All right. I'm sorry about that little bit of a delay. Hold on just a second. Let me get something to drink. Okay. Next, discharge petition. That's the thing I was telling you. Marjorie Taylor Greene says she signed every single one of them when it crosses her desk. So there's a discharge petition in the House. It passed 222 to 200. The motion to proceed prevents Trump from cracking down on federal labor unions. If it passes Thursday, which is the day, it'll go to the House. So the Republicans have signed that because, there should not be any unions inside federal jobs, okay, federal departments. But there are, let's see. The Republicans who voted for it was Jeff Andrew from New Jersey, Nicole Malliotakis in New York, Nick LaLota, New York, Brian Fitzpatrick, Pennsylvania, Rob Bresnahan, Pennsylvania, Don Bacon, Nebraska, Mike Lawler, New York, Tom Keene, New Jersey, Ryan McKenzie, Pennsylvania, Zach Nunn, Iowa, Chris Smith, New Jersey, Pete Stauber, Minnesota, and Mike Turner, Ohio. So if you look at this, the non-blue states, there were let's see, 1, 2, 3 out of the 13 Republicans, 3 of them came from red states. The other 10 came from blue states. As you can see where that one's going, right? So the discharge petition was filed by Jared Golden, Democrat in Maine, and who forced a vote on the measure via a mechanism called the discharge. That it's designed to force a vote on legislation over the wishes of leadership, provided he gets support from a majority of House lawmakers. The motion to proceed with debate on the final bill was passed 222 to 220. All 209 voting Democrats voted with 13 Republicans to advance the bill, which is now headed for another House-wide procedural vote Thursday, which is the day. So if they didn't have the 13 Republicans doing what they did, it would have gone nowhere. If it survives a House rule vote, the final vote will be today. 5 House Republicans signed onto the petition with 213 Democrats. The petition signers was Fitzpatrick, Bresnahan, Bacon, Lawler, and LaLota. The only one that came from a red state was Don Bacon from Nebraska. And he is a lame duck because he is not running for re-election. Golden's bill is called the Protect America's Workforce Act, aimed at repealing March 2025 executive order from Trump. Trump's order blocked collective bargaining with the unions at an array of federal agencies, including parts of the Departments of Defense, State, VA, Justice, and Energy. It also affects workers at Homeland Security, Treasury, Health and Human Services, Interior, and Agriculture. Successful discharge petitions are rare in the House, with most lawmakers in the majority party generally wary of being defiance of their lawmakers, but most Republicans who backed Golden's measures are expected either to face at least somewhat tough reelection bids or have districts located in blue states where bipartisanship is expected on certain key issues. Where's the okay, so I don't know. The legislation will now be debated in the House before a final vote. Hold on. Okay. It must be taken up and approved by the Senate and head to Trump's desk for his signature to be enacted. So, that being said, it's probably going to pass the House. We don't know what it's going to do in the Senate, because when it goes to the Senate, it's got to pass cloture, like filibuster, right? Oh, if it passes that and gets enacted, it's got to go to Trump. Guess what Trump gets to do if it's below 2/3 majority in each house? He can veto it, and it goes nowhere. So it may be for naught, but they did, this Democrat did a discharge petition, and it's forcing us to go on. All right. So next, here's one that says Elon Musk accuses Omar of treason over Somalia comments in a viral social media post. Elon Musk accuses Omar of committing treason over past comments, which she did just a few months ago, in which she vowed to safeguard Somali interests in the U.S. while assuring her constituents the administration would do what we asked it to do. And he said it sounds like treason, which it does sound like treason. The video circulated widely online and highly further by the Tesla CEO, and the remarks were made in January 2024 when she told supporters in Minneapolis and St. Paul that she would fight to prevent the breakaway Republic of Somaliland from allowing Ethiopia to create a naval base on its coastline, because that would directly threaten Somalia, right? So let's see where that goes. I bet that's under investigation. I don't like the lady anyway because she's a socialist and she does support everything that comes out of Somalia. Let's see. This is the next one I will looking. Okay, and then I don't know if you caught my part on at the very end of the JP8 report yesterday. The Federal Reserve unfortunately lowered interest rates by only 0.25%. I am in league with a lot of people saying that interest rates should have been lowered by at least a half a point. All right, that would have stimulated the economy. You know, it takes a vote of, I believe there's 14 Fed governors, right? So they're the ones that take the vote, but they operate under the influence and leadership of Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell is he's being forced to retire because he can only serve 2 terms in May, and so March or May, one of the two. So can't wait for him to leave. I wish the president would fire him, but he hasn't, and he probably won't. I have a deal in here. Yeah, I read this. This was pretty good too. So this deals with the Federal Reserve, right? Trump's final round of interviews. This has come from the New York Post with Fed chair candidates set to start this week. And the favorite, and I told my wife this about an hour ago, Kevin Hassett, because he came on TV, he is the favorite to become the next Fed chair, which would be a good decision. He's the president. He's the chair of the President's Economic Council. President Trump is slated to start his final round of interviews this week for new Federal Reserve chairman to replace Jerome Powell, with the top House economic advisor Kevin Hassett viewed as the forerunner. Trump and his Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent were set to conduct the first of several interviews on Wednesday, which was yesterday, along with starting with former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh. We're going to take a look at a couple different people, but I have a pretty good idea who I want. He said that from Air Force One. Along with Hassett, the candidates for the Fed chair are Fed Chair Christopher Waller and Michelle Bowman. Wow, she used to be a congressman from Minnesota, along with BlackRock fixed rate income chief Rick Reeder. Markets are heavily betting on Hassett as the president looks for someone to slash rates at a speedy pace. 84% in a survey on CNBC said they believe Trump would choose Hassett, which I agree to, but I wasn't surveyed. So wish him good luck, right? More economic news. Do you have $1 million? Because, let me push this out so everyone can see. We'll go back. There. This is what I'm going to read about right now. The Trump Gold Card. That looks awesome, doesn't it? I can't afford that. And most people that are probably watching this can't afford that also. But it is awesome looking, isn't it? To be able to get that card, you have to be a citizen of another country that wants to come to the United States. Right? To get that, you have to file a one-time fee of $15,000 to be vetted, and then give a gift of $1 million to the United States Treasury if you are accepted to get the Trump Gold Card. It's good for 5 years. Makes you a permanent resident, and after 5 years, if you would like to become a U.S. citizen, you can apply to become a U.S. citizen. If you are working for a company that wants you to work for them, they also have to give $2 million to the United States Treasury. So what this is I'm going to read a little bit about this because it's like some of it is confusing. So the president has finally released his hotly anticipated gold card, allowing deep-pocket foreigners to purchase U.S. visas. Trump told reporters at the White House that it would function somewhat like a green card, letting foreigners become instantly eligible for permanent residency to work in America. Individuals have to pay $1 million to the Treasury, while companies will have to fork over $2 million to keep employees. Homeland Security will conduct the background check to make sure they're qualified. After 5 years, any gold card carrying permanent resident can apply for full citizenship. The United States government Trump card is here today. A direct path to citizenship for all qualified and vetted people, the president later posted on Truth Social. So exciting, our great companies can finally keep their invaluable talent. Live site opens in 30 minutes. The card purchases are revamping the backlog of a cumbersome EB5 visa program that had awarded permanent legal status to foreigners who invested up to $1 million in U.S. businesses. As many as 250,000 foreigners are still waiting for their approvals as part of the program as of February last year. And then, how this came about is Congress authorized the visa program, the EB1, in 1990 to place investments of differing levels based on the region of the U.S. Some rural areas only required around $800,000 as opposed to $1 million. Foreign investors also had to be shown how they could create at least 10 American jobs with the funds. Just 135,000 EB5 visas have been issued in 25 years, according from data from the Invest in USA Trade Association. And then the president said he expects hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue that could result in that the top business leaders like Tim Cook have celebrated the gold card solution. And originally set at $5 million price tag, the card was touted by Trump and his officials as a way of balancing the federal budget with more than revenue. There's a fine line for E5B, 250,000 right now. 200,000 of these gold green cards is 1 million at $5 million is $1 trillion to pay down our debt. Howard Lutnick said. That's a lot of money. I'll show y'all one more time so y'all can drool over this awesome looking card. That is really cool, isn't it? Man. But I'll never see it because I'm a U.S. citizen. I was born in Fort Worth. So I can handle that. Let's see. We'll go back to that one. Oh, yes. I love talking about AOC. Okay, so AOC, y'all, I don't know if y'all like her or not. Don't forget, if you're watching, to click that follow button and click that like button and please share. And then also, like I said earlier, if you're watching this, whether on video on demand or live, my daughter is about to walk across the stage on Monday for her master's degree. Please leave a comment in the comment section telling Rachel congratulations on getting her master's degree. Human genetics and genetic counseling. She hasn't chimed in on this, so I don't know if she's watching right now or what, but soon enough she will be. Alrighty, so AOC campaign spent nearly $50,000 in Puerto Rico between June and September on luxury hotels, pricey meals, and $23,000 on venue rental at the same San Juan arena where she was spotted dancing in a suite at a Bad Bunny concert during August trip to the U.S. territory. Doesn't she represent a place in New York City? That's where she should have been instead of partying down with campaign funds in Puerto Rico. Because the last time I checked, she doesn't have anyone in Puerto Rico that votes for her. Videos have emerged on social media from the August trip show AOC visiting, wait till you hear the numbers on this, visiting a house development to rail against gentrification, while other footage shows from social media show her dancing in what appears to be box seats at a Bad Bunny concert on August 10th alongside of Congresswoman Nidia Velázquez. Between August and September, Bad Bunny held a 31-show residency tour at the popular El Choliseo de Puerto Rico in San Juan. If I mess that up in Spanish, I apologize, people. All right. which was attended by a slew of celebrities like LeBron James, Iggy Azalea, and Penelope Cruz, and Austin Butler, among others. Meanwhile, a campaign finance report from the third quarter, which records campaign expenses by members of Congress between July 1 and September 30, campaign expenses, people, okay, show that AOC spent over $15,000 at 2 luxury hotels at San Juan, where Bad Bunny was holding his residency tour. The campaign also spent $15,500 on meals and catering services, the filings show. Federal Election Commission's filing for Q3 show expenditures from the Congressional Principals Campaign Committee on 2 luxury hotels in San Juan, the Hotel Palacio Provincial and Hotel El Convento. On July 28th, AOC's campaign forked over $680.52 to Hotel Palacio Provincial, followed by sequential payments to the hotel on August 29th for $1,507 and September 29th for $9,440.79. A $3,861.20 payment also went to Hotel Convento on August 25th, which owns the Hotel Palacio Provincial property as well. So the same owner owns both hotels, making a whole boatload of campaign money, which she runs in New York City, not Puerto Rico. AOC's QC filings show she spent $15,489.77 on lodging alone in Puerto Rico. I'd like to be that campaign donor. Like, where in the world did all my money go? It went to Puerto Rico and not New York City. Yeah. All right. In same filings show AOC's campaign spent $10,743.13 on catering and meals in Puerto Rico. Who was she catering for? She represents New York City. Man, you can't get... Man, it doesn't get any better than this. The payments were dated across 2 separate days, August 25th and September 29th, and included high-end restaurants in San Juan, such as Cocina Iberta and Cocina Al Fondo and Verde Mesa. The 2 separate payments on June 24 and August 25, AOC's campaign spent more than $23,000 on venue rental at the Coliseo de Puerto Rico, which is where Bad Bunny held multiple concerts as part of his residency tour, including August 10th, the day that AOC attended his concert. Fox News Digital could not confirm whether the payments were to multiple visits or whether a down payment was made and the final payment was paid later by the campaign. In response to this article, AOC's campaign manager, Oliver Hidalgo Willabin, said that AOC regularly travels to Puerto Rico to support local causes and hosts events that require both staff and security. She is deeply proud of her investment in grassroots organizing and will continue to be active in advocating for both peoples on the island and millions of Puerto Ricans in the diaspora. If you know what that means, let me know, okay? I have no idea what diaspora means. AOC's campaign didn't just drop thousands on luxury hotels and high-end food in Puerto Rico. AOC also continued racking up multi-$1,000 hotel stays at boutique luxury hotels and high-end food vendors stateside during a third quarter filing period as well, including from sellers that are based along the Fighting Oligarchy tour she participated with Senator Bernie Sanders earlier this year. She dropped nearly $5,000 at the Hotel Vermont in Burlington, which showed an April visit that racked up over $1,600 according to the Congresswoman's second quarter filings. Her campaign also spent $2,000 for a stay at an upscale boutique hotel near Central Park. Doesn't she have a residence to stay at in New York City? I believe so. If not, she's not a legal resident of New York and she can't be in Congress. That's my editorial part on that. The Arlo Williamsburg, a Brooklyn high-rise hotel with a rooftop pool and bar. I've never been in a hotel like that. Also listed her most recent FEC report, which revealed she dropped nearly $3,000 to stay there. So I think this congresswoman's on a vacation spill. Man, AOC's most recent FEC filing also revealed she racked up thousands of dollars in high-end restaurants, including $6,300 bill at a fancy restaurant in D.C. called Ama, while her campaign spent $4,500 on ice cream from Mr. Dingling Ice Cream located in Latham, New York. I hope she spent $4,500 on ice cream with her constituents in her congressional district in New York City. Other high-end restaurants the campaign ate at stateside during Q3 was El Secreto de Rosita in D.C., Hen of the Wood in Vermont, Central Park Boathouse, and Motley Kitchen in the Bronx. Bills for these diners range from a few $100s to a couple $1,000, totaling over $7,000. Oh my goodness. There's got to be a whole boatload of laws that she's breaking. Why doesn't someone file something with the ethics committee or someone with the FEC? That is unbelievable. You know, when I ran for city council and for college board of trustees, never once did I spend donor dollars like this. I spent mine on campaign signs, polls, Facebook ads, digital billboards, and push cards. That's all I did. Why is she spending all this money from donors? I would be wanting a refund from the stuff that this is absolutely so fraud, waste, and abuse. Definitely. Oh my goodness. And you wonder why it's so hard for people in local races to raise money for their election campaigns, because people get on the internet and read this from Fox News, which is a really good article, right? And they see their donor dollars being consistently wasted on vacations. Why was she using campaign money to go to a concert in Puerto Rico? She gets paid $176,000 a year, and I believe she gets a $90,000 expense account, I think, right? And she's going to use campaign dollars to do all this junk and take another congresswoman with her and to hang out with Senator Bernie Sanders. We elect people like this. Well, I don't. I hope I don't. And if I find out, I won't vote for him. But she is, and the people in her district are hurting for money. Because I've seen she gives away turkeys and stuff to people. But that's a good thing. But she could be using that more money to do stuff that's good for her district and for a re-election campaign. That's what you're supposed to use your campaign dollars for. That is crazy. That is so crazy. Let's see what else I got here. Oh yeah, let's talk about this one. Well, we'll do this one, and I got a couple of things I want to talk about really quick. Oh, Judge Paula Zinnes, she is an Obama appointee federal judge. She ordered this morning Abrego Garcia released from ICE detention. All right, just so you know. And I think Abrego Garcia is the Maryland guy, Maryland father that doesn't want to go back to his home in El Salvador, and so they're trying to find a home for him. Well, she just ordered that he has to be released, but she actually dated it for Monday to give the administration a chance to appeal her decision. At least she did that, all right? So, Congressman Crockett, you know where she's actually going to try to run for the Senate. So, I have another article here. Yeah, I already read this one too. So, here we go. When it comes to heavily contested Senate battle in Texas, former Colin Aldred is out. Jasmine Crockett is in. The Democrats appear divided on whether Crockett's political liability in the Ruby Red Lone Star State has the party worked to flip the crucial seat. The stakes in the race are extremely high. It is one of a handful of races across the country that will likely determine if the Republicans hold their Senate majority in the next midterm elections. Crockett, a 2-year lawmaker, oh yeah, guess what? If she doesn't get elected to the Senate, she's out of congressional retirement. Yes. Okay, back to the story. A 2-term lawmaker that represents Dallas is a progressive firebrand and rising Democrat Party star, which, with a large social media following, who is known as a vocal critic and to foil President Donald Trump. Her launch will likely further rock the Texas ballot showdown, which on the Republican side includes very combustible battle between Senator John Cornyn, Ken Paxton, which is our Attorney General, and Congressman Wesley Hunt. The Democrat Party's aspirations to win in a red state like Texas simply don't exist without a centrist Democrat who can build a winning coalition with ideologically diverse voters. Liam Ken, co-founder of Welcome PAC, which advocates for moderate Democrat candidates. They don't know what they're talking about. Aldred, who was making the second straight bid for the Senate after losing last year's concert to Senator Cruz by 9 points, abandoned his bid on Monday and announced he would run for the U.S. House in the seat that Mark Veazey was running for, and he'd resigned from his re-election bid to run for Tarrant County judge against Tom O'Hare, which Veazey's going to get beat on that one. Crockett will now face off in her primary against James Tallarico. He's a former middle school teacher and a Presbyterian seminarian, and they said he's a rising Democrat. He's one of them that fled to D.C. during our special sessions in the Texas legislative over the summer because we wanted to redistrict, and and they fled because they didn't want to vote on it. I'll put it like this. If they would have allowed it to be voted on earlier, they might have had a chance for a final ruling in the Supreme Court. But they want to play politics and go AWOL and leave the state, so they're paying a price for that one. I think we're in a period where we're looking for fresh new faces to lead the party, and that's what you got in Texas. Some veteran person said. Let's see. La 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 la. Yeah. Well, you got Democrats both for her and against her, and says she's too brash to win anything here in Texas on a statewide basis. The last time a Democrat has won a United States Senate race was in 1988, and that was Lloyd Bentsen when he got reelected. All right. I saw something from Karl Rove, and I really don't care anything about Karl Rove because he's a turncoat, along with President Bush. And then right there, we got those two. I'm going to save those for tomorrow because we're over an hour. Don't forget, I got two more things. Don't forget to click that follow button, and please click that follow button and click that like button. Give us some likes, please, and leave some comments. Don't forget to leave that comment in there for Rachel for her graduating from with her master's degree. All right, so two things I want to talk about really quick. One, you will never see me endorsing anything that the guy with the initials N and F has. I don't even want to mention his name because he is a white supremacist, and I don't want to give him any notoriety at all. And the next is Turning Point USA. I fully have always supported Turning Point USA. I've always liked Charlie Kirk. When I saw what happened on the 10th of September, it like ripped a part of me out of my body because I saw it right after it happened because they showed it on the news. The things that the person with initials CO and all kinds of other liberals and even some conservatives are actually saying about Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk are demonic. Okay? Demonic, not demonic. It's so disrespectful of what they're putting her through. She is doing her best with the other people that are in the hierarchy of Turning Point USA. They are doing their best, and they're going to be successful with Turning Point Action, Turning Point Club America, right? They will do great, and I will always support them immensely. We have a private school at our church. The curriculum is Turning Point USA curriculum. We have another church in Killeen that I do stuff with, right? They have Turning Point USA curriculum in their school. That is an awesome organization, and those people, especially the one with the initials CO, needs a layoff. And I really hope someone would come up with a $100 million defamation lawsuit and attack her with it and be done. That lady lost her husband 3 months ago, and she needs support. And she doesn't need this stupid nonsense going on, which are total fabrication of lies against her. And it needs to stop. And I listened to some podcasts. I actually had to turn podcasts off because they just laid in, just kept going, and giving the lady with the CO initials more notoriety on the stuff that she keeps saying over and over again, and they're just throwing fuel on a fire and keep it going and stuff instead of ceasing it. So my hat's off to Mrs. Kirk and what she's going through, and she has our support. And everybody I know out here in Central Texas totally supports what she is doing. All right? So that's what I wanted to say on that. So I'm done for the day. So if you want to find me on my social networks, you can find me at on X at James Pierce Jr. You can find me on Facebook at James A. Pierce Jr. YouTube, I'm live today on YouTube, which is awesome. The JP8 Report 67, and I'm on Truth at James A. Pierce. And if you want to send me an email, send it to jp8report@gmail.com. So that's the JPA report for today. Does anyone have any comments they want to ask? I'll just say it one more time. Don't forget, in the comments section, if you're listening, please put a comment in there for Rachel, because she will be crossing the graduation stage on Monday morning, and I want her to see this on her because she does listen to the JPA report. She's worked very hard for this master's degree. So I will see y'all tomorrow for the last episode for this week of the JPA report. Hope everybody has a great day. And so this is James Pierce with the JPA report. Catch you on the flip side. I'm out.